Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today, I'm bringing you a Kickstarter preview of Erune. Specifically, the second edition reprint of Erune, the core game, or the deluxe edition like I have in front of me here, and a brand new expansion with an enhanced one versus many game mode, where one player will control the creatures swarming the darkness, and another player or other players will take on the heroes journeying through this dungeon crawl adventure game. Now, that expansion is called Light and Darkness, and I will be going over some of the core differences between Light and Darkness as we continue this video, but for now, I want to give you an overview of what Erune is, why you should be paying attention to it, and why or why not it might be the right game to get onto your shelf, and of course, onto your table. Now, this is a sponsored preview video, and if a preview video isn't enough for you, we're gonna have at least 2 gameplays coming here to the channel over the course of this campaign, highlighting Light and Darkness and probably showcasing some of the core game of Erune as it is. So stay tuned, and of course, follow that link at the top of the video description. There is a 48-hour backer special, so even if you're mixed on this right now, swing over there, take a closer look, and go ahead and get the enhanced guidebook, which is going to help you actually build out your own dungeons and your own kits. If you're an RPG player or someone who likes exploring through their own systems, this is a mix-mash of opportunity to bring your characters, to bring your various villains and heroes, and create your own scenarios as well. But that's not at the heart what Erune is. Erune is going to be a dungeon crawl exploration game. I have a full map set up in front of us here, but when you first start the game, you're usually going to start over in some corner room, journeying with your brightly highlighted adventures here and starting to unveil things as you play. The game is going to give you a series of objectives, scenarios, and different branching pathways that are constantly changing and updating depending on what you've chosen in previous adventures. You're going to be listening to some story, making a few decisions, then being directed on how to set up this dungeon crawl experience. There are a variety of different scenarios, a variety of different map layouts depending on the campaign you're playing, and like I said, the decisions that you and in Light and Darkness, your opponent has made as you've played the game. You'll start opening doors, popping open rooms, exposing various enemies, and leveling up or gaining experience for your heroes. Each hero, the core game starts with the Archer, Guardian, Warrior, and Wizard, has their own stack of unique abilities and upgrades. Now, some of these are going to be your classic, I punch him in the face, or I do a little bit of healing with me, or I use an item or an ability. But there is an expansive amount of progression that lets you actually upgrade over the course of the game into various different high-level characters. You have an assassin, a berserker, a knight, you have a pyro, a huskarl, which I don't even know what that... If you know what a huskarl is already, leave a comment down below. The profound silhouette of the huskarl alone makes you feel safe. The elite dwarf warrior, protected by his impenetrable armor, will always raise his shield to rescue his breath. I'll take it. Listen, a good dwarf is a good character. You have a runesmith, a mage archer, a druid, a sharpshooter, arcanist, battle mage, occultist, dark mage, warlord, and builder. How do you make it to these enhanced super characters? Well, it comes through playing the game, naturally, gaining experience at campfires or completing objectives as you play, but it also comes through the way that you choose to progress through these cards. There's a complex system of upgrades and levels that the game actually kindly runs behind the scenes for you. Branching pathways depending on the decisions that you've taken and the various different types of abilities that you've unlocked. We have the backstab, adrenaline, good fortune, lightning attack, and riposte. These, of course, are going to be the beginning general ones that all characters have access to at the beginning of the game. Opportunity attack, power, controlled attack, chain attack, circular attack, robustness, controlled defense. There's a lot of cards. I don't want to just sit here and read names to you, but depending on the upgrades that you take, as you play and unlock new levels, you'll start going in these various pathways, and those upgrades and those decisions will lead to the end character that you become. This powerful mage or incredible dwarven armored giant who always protects his brethren, I suppose. Again, I'm not sure what that is. I assume it's real lore. but I'm not sure. You're also going to have a stack of powers and abilities depending on the type of caster that you are. These are going to be abilities that you can level up as you play as well, but they're going to be one-time use, sometimes multi-use, but typically one-time use abilities throughout the course of each scenario. These are going to be your special magic abilities, stuff like that, whereas these other cards are going to be more skills and opportunity attacks that you're going to get and you're going to unlock. There's a wide range of enemies you're going to be facing, from the green horde of orcs and goblins over to the undead gray, and of course the demonic red, the crypts that are rising up, or the beasts that are rising up from the underearth. Along with that, Light and Darkness is going to be introducing a whole new series and set of faction creatures. You have some bone people, you have a big rock golem or genie here. You also have, where is it? One of my favorite, which is going to be completely a mimic? No, I'm completely blanking on what this creature is now, even though it's one of the best creatures in all of D&D. A little treasure chest that pops into a horrible goal that you have to fight, and you think you were going to get a beautiful prize, but it turns out that it's not. I hope they color this guy bright gold, because they also have this beautiful terrain throughout the course of the game. Big chests that you can open up, treasure chests scattered across, a bubbling cauldron here, doorways that you open as you explore, a table that you can leap onto, firing with your archer bow, and piercing a goblin through the head. The new game is going to come with even more of these terrain items as well, from a trap door, which indicates whether or not you found the right one on the back, over to a magic brewing station where you can upgrade abilities and slowly get new levels and new items as you actually journey through one campaign to another. So the core concept of Erune, what is the game doing here? And then I'm going to play a little bit of flavor text to give you a sense of the experience of play. This is taking what would normally be a D&D game or a role-playing game and transporting it to a position where you don't have to be playing as a DM, a dungeon master. Instead, you and a group of friends can sit down, experience a story, upgrade characters, and play through an adventure without needing someone to have prepared a large campaign or tell the full narrative. Now, if you like someone playing against you and you're not a big fan of only cooperative games, Light and Darkness is going to give you a progressive narrative that allows you to continue moving forward, meaning you don't have to defeat every single scenario before the story continues on its pathway, but it's going to allow one player to run the darkness side of the arena, controlling the monsters, getting powers and abilities from special cards they draw, using their stored energy and their stored abilities at key opportune times to take out the heroes that are journeying across the adventure. And if the darkness overwhelms the players, that's okay. The story will continue and the branching narratives will expand based on who won each campaign. So you could have a campaign that actually ends with the darkness having won every scenario along the way. I assume that doesn't make for a very nice world, but it is an opportunity here. It lets you play against one other person and really experience the full scope of a RPG. Now, in a classic D&D session, the DM actually wouldn't be trying to defeat the creatures or trying to defeat the heroes. This isn't that. Here, if you're playing as the DM or playing as the person who's controlling the environment in the room, go ahead and rip their heads off. Do everything you can to stop them in their tracks, because they're going to level up in proportion to you, and trust me, it's going to be a challenge for both sides. The core concept, though, like I said, is you're going to be journeying through this adventure, unlocking rooms, gaining new weapons, powers, and abilities, keeping all of this noted on your character sheet here, and watching as the campaign and the story continues to evolve. One of the most unique things about Erune is the fully integrated audio narration throughout every stage of the game. Heroes and NPCs that you meet along the way that you get to talk and interact with, decisions and options that you get to do, along with the Spirit of Erune, who's going to be your rulebook guide. He's going to be telling you when to draw cards and what you should be doing in order to continue progressing the game in a positive way. This lets you not have to worry so much about holding and controlling a rulebook, and lets you focus a little bit more on the gameplay. Now, I know there's an audience of people out there that are not big fans of app-based board games, but I have to say, Erune is doing something here that I think is going to become more and more common in the board game space. Integrating a AI system, or not an AI system, but integrating, there's too much AI talk on the internet right now, integrating a narration system and a system that allows the programming of intricate levels and abilities, that allows the narrative to change and expand, and allows the game developers to update and make changes to the story after time has already passed. It gives you the opportunity as a player to have a game that's supported from the moment you get it for a long time, and it gives the developers and the designers the opportunity to continue playing in this world and the environment. They can do more complex things because they have an app, and they can tell a more immersive story because they have an app than they could if they were just handing you a big book and a stack of cards. I know it's not for everyone, but they are doing something interesting, and if you are open to the idea, Erune is a good place to start. Now, if you go check BGG and all the comments and sites and stuff, there have been some complaints about rulebook elements and making things as clear as possible. That's one of the issues that you run into when you have a hybrid game like this, because part of the rulebook components are told through the story itself, are told as you experience the game in the app, and the rulebook can be a little bit hard to read and hard to write. In this new version they're releasing, in this new copy, the second reprint, if you go to their Q&A and you check out the different answers that they've brought, they're going to be doing a full rehaul of some of those elements, a full rewrite of the rulebook itself, so any of those concerns or any of those frustrations should be addressed as this new edition comes out. For now, let's take a listen to some of the narration and watch the intro story to this second level that I have set up here.
Drinking at the Inn of Orville, relishing the marvelous mead from the local monastery, when a panicked monk bursts into the room. Out of breath, he explains that his crypt has been invaded by goblins, and that he has only narrowly escaped their rapid attack. Believing he is the sole survivor of his prayer group, he begs you for help. You immediately go to the entrance of the crypt in the hope of finding other survivors.
Okay.
The quest The Crypt of Orville starts. Turn 1 starts. Master of Shadows. Your objective is to kill or injure each adventurer. Your sources of shadows have 1 health points per adventurer present. The Master of Shadows turn begins. Skills mastered by monsters this game are Backstab and Riposte. Put the Master of Shadows skills cards on the table. Monsters will use them as soon as possible during the quest.
So, there you have it. You heard the Spirit of Erune there, and the intro story setting up this scenario. The Spirit of Erune's going to pop in, they're going to take their turn, and you'll continue progressing as the game unfolds. We open various doorways and slowly, hopefully, slaughter all of our opponents. I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit so you can hear me talk instead of the music that's playing in the background. So, Light and Darkness. Light and Darkness is going to introduce a few new campaigns, stories that you can go through. It's going to introduce 2 brand new characters. We have the Demon Hunter and the Monk. Demon Hunter, wielding a multi-shot crossbow and demonstrating unparalleled skill with her whip, the Demon Hunter stands as an undisputed expert in vanquishing creatures of the abyss. Her profound insight into the dark beings she battles transforms her into an unyielding adversary, executing each action with lethal precision. And the Monk, guided by his inner light, the Monk is the quintessence of bodily astral balance. His agility, akin to a breeze, wards off dangers and brings hope where shadows reign. So 2 new characters you can play with, a whole host of new terrain and new creatures that you're going to be fighting, new story arcs for you to play through, and of course, the head-to-head mode, which is optional. You can still play fully cooperative through any of the narrative that it gives you, but if you want to play one versus many, if you want to have someone controlling the darkness and doing their best to twist it to their own evil intent, this game will give you the opportunity to do that. Now, like I said, there's a link in the top of the video description and a 48-hour window to go ahead and get some of the extra insight and a book that gives you lore and balance in the game that allows you to help build your own scenarios. If you think that's something you're going to want to do, swing over there, hit the backer button, keep an eye on it, see if it's a game that should be coming to your shelf and getting onto your table. And I'll be bringing some gameplay video here to the channel, so stay tuned, there's going to be more to come. Whatever the case though, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing, get out and play some games. I'll see you next time. Bye.